everyone, Shroomraver here, and today got something that is a little bit different from the normal content that you'd be expecting to see right now. This is not league play per se, it's not even Sun and Moon. This is going to be the last of the Gen 6 videos going up on the channel a bit later than I would like, but what are you going to do? What this is it's league play in a sense, because what we've got here is my battles from the PPL versus NPL war. Yes, indeed. Now, I forget entirely how this came about, I forget who approached who, but essentially what it boiled down to was we were going to have a little bit of a war between us, the PPL, and our very good friends over at the NPL, another fantastic league with some great battlers, we love them. Yeah, so that was basically the plan. 15 of us representing the PPL would take on 15 representatives from the NPL. We would be sort of seeded from 1 through 15, and we would take on our opposite numbers in a best of 3 series of battles. We would draft a team of 7. With us at the PPL, we sort of drafted, not in your general sort of snake draft, we kind of said the kind of ones we wanted to sort of prioritise, and we just built our teams from there. So, let's get into that team that I got. The 2 Pokemon I really wanted were Azelf and Porygon 2. I love building around Azelf, it's so much fun to use offensively, and Porygon 2 is just a world-class wall, I love it, and it's just incredibly reliable and solid, so I got those 2. And then with a little bit of input from others, I completed a wall core with Aromatisse and Registeel, that's gross. Took Mega-Manectric, which I haven't really used before, but I thought, why not, you know, nice to get that powerful, speedy Volt Switcher. Tentacruel was my spinner and another solid wall that could go offensive if needs be, and I rounded it out with Mamoswine, which I've never really got the chance to use before in any kind of draft format, but you know, why not give it a go here? So ooh, I've got a text from O2, how nice is that? Let's ignore it. So yeah, getting into our rankings out of the 15 and who my opponent was going to be. I was ranked 13th out of our 15. I wasn't happy about it, but these things, you know, they happen. It doesn't really matter. And so yeah, I was in the 13th seed, and my opponent from the NPL was Cloud Envy, the manager slash coach of the Jersey Dwebbles. His links down in the description below. He wasn't someone that I knew very well before this, but he's a cool guy, we like him, so yeah, do check out his links in the description. The team that he drafted that I'd be going up against is Mega Aerodactyl, Thunderous Incarnate, Nidoking, Goodra, Gardevoir, Fortress and Poliwrath. So that's a tough team, there are some powerful threats on there, but I was feeling confident because let's look at those first 4, Mega Aerodactyl, Thunderous Incarnate, Nidoking, Goodra. I have a Mamoswine, which just eats that lot for breakfast. I felt like I would be confident in walling out his offensive stuff with my walls, and I could sort of clean up with Azelf or Mega-Manectric as needs be. So I was feeling very confident about my matchup going into this, and I needed to be, because by the time we got around to playing, which was quite late on, a lot of other games had happened, PPL wasn't doing so well, let me tell you that. So a lot hinged on me representing and coming out for the PPL and doing well, and trying to cast off the demons of seasons gone by where I have not done well. So yeah, that's basically the situation we find ourselves in. So without further ado, let's get into the first of the battles I had against Cloud Envy and see exactly how things went down. So here we are at the first battle. As you can see, I have my team on screen, he has his. Now the team I opted to bring here, Choice Scarf Mamoswine because it runs through him, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, Earthquake and HP Fire for that pesky Fortress. We have got a physically defensive Porygon 2 with Bolt Beam, Toxic Recover, an Assault Vest, Tentacruel, offensive, Scald, Sludge Bomb, Rapid Spin, Acid Spray. We've got a very cool Azelf set that I was excited to use. It's Psyshock, Flamethrower, Nasty Pot and Endure with a Salac Berry. It worked very well in practice matches. We've got a mixed defensive but mostly Fizz Def Aromatisse with Moonblast, Psyshock, Wish Protect. And finally a specially defensive Registeel with Iron Head, Ice Punch, Toxic and Stealth Rock. So, looking at my opponent's team, we have got the Gardevoir, the Goodra, Fortress, Nidoking, Thunderous Incarnate and the Mega Aerodactyl. So, that's the team I'm going up against. Without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see how things played out for us in the first game of our matches. So, I'll be leading with my Tentacruel. Cloud is going to lead off with his Fortress. Now, I don't fear this guy. I can just stay in here and click Scald. He doesn't have his water immunity. I do a solid 43%, that's a good start. And Cloud is just going to get up his rocks. Now, I can spin on anything here, but I choose just to go for the Scald again in case he wanted to get a cheeky double into Thunderous on my spin. As it is, he is just going to go for the slow Volt Switch as I get big damage onto said Fortress. It's not going to do anything, I'm AV and he's weak. And he's going to Volt Switch on out of there into his Gardevoir. Tracy's Clear Body. Now, I don't want to take a Psychic from this guy, even if I'm AV. I certainly don't want to take a Psy Shock. So what I'm going to do is go into Porygon 2 just to see what he wants to do to me. And early game, Cloud's going to make the play, he's going to go for Trick. He gives me a Scarf and takes away my Violet. This is bad. P2 is now not going to be doing too much for this game. So, he's going to go for Focus Blast. I still tank it because I'm a P2. And I'm just going to go for Chip Damage, see what I can do here with the Ice Beam and do, 30%. But P2 is basically too useless to do anything in this game, so I'm just going to let it go down as he goes for the Moonblast to guarantee KO. So, we're down 6-5 early, but we can come back from this. I'm going to go into Mamoswine. It puts enormous pressure on his team, and I am just going to go for the Scarfed Icicle Crash and take out the Gardevoir. So down goes the big threat, and we're instantly back on parity. Now, Cloud is going to bring in his Fortress here, and there's only one reason he'd do this, Custap Explosion. I'm having none of it. So as you can see, the Custap Berry pops, but I'm having none of it. I know this is coming. I'm going to go straight into Registeel to absolutely tank this hit. And as you can see, Cloud is in fact going to go for that explosion. So it does nothing to us. I can spin. He doesn't have hazard options left other than Rocks on Mega Aero, which I don't think he's got, or Nidoking, similar deal. So I can spin away Rocks and try and get up my own. Now, in comes the Nidoking, another consummate threat, and he is just going to go for the Super Fang. I knew I could tank a hit from this guy, so I am just going to get my Rocks up here. Unless he's defogging Aerodactyl, which I doubted, he's not going to be able to get rid of those, and it's going to be good for the Thundy and the Aero. So here he's going to go for Earth Power. He is going to take me out, but that's fine. Thatcher's done its job at this point, and I need to rely on my offense to take out the rest of his stuff. So speaking of, I am going to go into my Azelf, and here I am just going to scout the Sucker Punch just to see if he's got it. So I'm going to go into my Tentacruel to see about that. But Cloud, as you can see, is going to switch on out of there. Not wanting to take on my Azelf, he's going to go into his Goodra. Which is fine, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with this matchup. I'm aware that Goodra gets Earthquake, but we're going to see what I do here. He's actually going to pull the double. Not wanting to take the risk, he's going to go into his Aerodactyl on my Tentacruel. I'm just going for Sludge Bomb here, which is fine. I just wanted to get damage onto the Goodra to see what he was going to do. Now, he is going to Mega Up with the Aero. He's going to go for the Earthquake, and he does score a crit. Now, how much that mattered is debatable. But either way, Tentacruel goes down and Rocks are here to stay on my side of the field, but that's not too big of a deal. I am going to go into Aromatisse. I know I can tank any hit including an Iron Tail, and that is what he chooses to go for. I do tank the Iron Tail, I just want chip damage on this guy for now. I go for Moonblast, I actually end up getting a Revenge Crit, and that one probably mattered more. What I wanted was chip damage so that Azelf could guarantee taking it out and go for a sweep. But in comes Nidoking. There's no reason to save my Aromatisse at this point. Everything outspeeds it. He goes for Sludge Wave. My Kemi Berry at that range is not going to do anything to save me. So now it's just my offense versus his offense, and it's 3 versus 2. Now I do bring in Azelf, and here I opt not to go for the Endure. And this is a good thing. He goes for Sucker Punch, showing that he has it. I go down to my Salac Berry, and I am just going to go for the Psyshock and take out the Nidoking. At this point, I don't think I need my Nasty Plot. So, Cloud, he's going to go into his Goodra right about now. I want to see what he's going to do and scout him, so I go for the Endure. As in fact, Goodra just goes for the Sludge Wave. Now, this is very unfortunate because he gets the Poison. So I probably should have gone for damage there. As it is, Azelf is going to go down, and now it is Mamoswine versus the world, but what better Pokemon to have on my side at the end of this battle than Mamoswine? Versus a Dragon and a Flying type, I'm still confident. So I'm going to go for Icicle Crash. That is going to decimate the Goop Dragon. Whether that crit mattered, I highly doubt it did. This is a Mamoswine, and it's powerful. But now it's Mamo versus Thunderous, 1v1. Can we take the win here? I'm locked into Icicle Crash. I go for it. He has a Yachi Berry. He lives the hit. He's going to go for the Brick Break, and we live it. We just about live it, and that means we're going to be able to go for Icicle Crash, take down the Thunderous, and that is going to be the game. Good game, really good game, Cloud, for the first one. Really came down to the wire, very close indeed. That Yachi Berry at the end almost coming in clutch. But Mamoswine, as I suspected it would, was the one who did most of the work this game. Nice support from Azelf as well. It was just mainly those two. My walls, some of them did their job, you know, Registeel I guess. Porygon 2 didn't have too much of a chance to shine. But thankfully I had the right offense to be able to take on Cloud's own team. So we take a 1-0 win going into the second game against Cloud. So without further ado, let's switch over to that one and see exactly how that game played out. So here we are, second game. This time we are using our team alts. I am Parasect Germain, and Cloud is Jersey Dwebbles. Now, I have switched up my team just a little bit. For this one, I decided to bring Mega-Manectric, feeling like he might want to go with the Poliwrath this time around. And yeah, we'll see if it works out. Basically, I've got a modest Mega-Manectric. I don't need to be timid to outspeed his entire team, or at least those I need to outspeed. Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Flamethrower, and Hidden Power Ice on there. Then we have Mamoswine. This time it's Mamoswine rocking the Salac Berry. So I've got Endure Salac on Mamoswine this time around with Icicle Spear, Ice Shard, and Earthquake. We've got another specially defensive Registeel. I saw no reason not to bring it again. We've got Stealth Rock, Iron Head, Ice Punch, and Thunder Wave this time. Next up, we have a Black Sludge, specially defensive Tentacle. We're not going offensive this time. Scald, Ice Beam, Rapid Spin, and Mirror Coat. We have got physically defensive Porygon. It's back. This time it's Ice Beam, Toxic, Sub Recover. I love Sub Toxic Recover Porygon, and I brought Ice Beam because it's basically the best thing to hit most of his team. As I explained earlier, it's quite ice weak, especially towards the top. Finally, we have Azelf. This time, roles reverse once again. It's Azelf who's Choice Scarfed, and it's a physical Scarfer with Zen Headbutt, Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and U-Turn. So, Cloud, he opted to bring Poliwrath, Thunderous Incarnate, Goodra, Nidoking, Fortress, and the Gardevoir. So no Mega Aero this time around for him. So, those are the teams. Without further ado, once again, let's get into this matchup and see exactly how things played out. So, gonna lead with my Azelf, my Scarfer. I can U-turn on anything. He's gonna go with the Thunderous. Now, I don't want to take a pranks to T-Wave. I am gonna hard switch here. And I'm going to go into my Registeel to scout him out and see what he wants to do. He ends up going for the knockoff. Knocks off my Sugar Berry, which is unfortunate, but it's not game changing. Now he's going to Volt Switch on out of there, showing me that he is not choiced, which is good knowledge to have. And he is going to go into... what is it going to be? What is it going to be? It's the Nidoking. Big offensive switch from him, but I am packing the Ice Punches coverage on Nidoking and on Registeel. Do a clean 40% to Nidoking. Now I don't have my Sugar Berry intact anymore. I don't want to take an Earthquake or an Earth Power, so I go into Porygon 2, but Cloud sees that coming very nicely. He's going to go for the Sludge Wave, but it is not enough to hit KO. So I'm basically just free to recover here. And as Cloud decides to go into his Goodra, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I'm going to do. That is it. I recover back up to full, and I'm pretty much just going to sit here and see what this guy wants to do to me. He goes for Superpower. It's not going to be enough to 2-hit KO after the drops. Porygon is too bulky. And I'm going to be able to drop a Toxic and try and wear this thing down, because now, with those attack drops, I'm fairly sure I can stall him out. And that's what Porygon is going to start to do. He's going to go for Superpower. I will live it because of that attack drop. I'm just going to sit here and go for Recover. I have no reason not to do this. If I have to stall out the Goodra, I'll do it. So, Shardock is sitting here just doing what it does, much like his namesake, just being annoying. So I'm happy to sit here and just click Recover again. Now... Cloud is going to go into his Fortress as I recover back to full. Now here, again, I can use this to scout him out. I'm going to go for Sub in case he wants to Toxic me. Now, as it is, he's actually going to get up his rocks. This is fine. I can spin those away at some point with Tentacle later. And here, I will just go for my only attacking move, which is Ice Beam. I'm doing nothing, but it's still a matchup I should win 1v1. And Cloud's actually going to Volt Switch out here, which I wasn't entirely sure about. But it's going to work out well for me because I'm going to be sitting behind a Sub as he goes into the Gardevoir. Now, he's not Mega, so I don't fear Hyper Voice. He is just going to go for the Moonblast and take out my substitute. As I decide to go for the Ice Beam. I get a crit, it does more damage than it would have. Now here I'm going to click recover to scout out his set, and that damage tells me this is Specs. This is a Specs Gardevoir, so I can just sit here once again and just recover still. But now I don't want to take too many more of these. I am going to go into my Tentacle, seeing this as a potential opportunity to spin, and I know that he can't take me out, or two-shot me. The Moonblast, it does good damage, but not enough. I am specially defensive, I will take this hit. So, I know that Cloud is going to switch out here. He does not want to stay in versus the Tentacle. It's not a matchup that he's going to take favourably. He is going to go into his Goodra, as I just drop a Scald. I figured like he might want to go into Nidoking really offensively to take a poison type move, but as it is, he goes into Barney and takes that hit just fine. So I'm going to switch out. I don't particularly want to take an Earthquake from this guy, so I'm going to go into Registeel just to sack it off because I don't need it anymore. And Earthquake is exactly what he's going to go for. But that's fine. Registeel has done pretty much all it needs to at this point. I didn't think I needed it to try and win this game. And Toxic's going to hurt Barney, and I can make a favourable switch into Mamoswine, the consummate threat on my end. And he doesn't want anything to take a hit too much, so I'm going to go for the Icicle Spear, and that's going to take out Barney with 2 hits. Very easily done, and once again down goes Goodra, and it's 5 on 5. Now in comes the Thunderous, and I'm not liking it. I'm not Scarfed, I don't want to take a Focus Blast, so I'm going to go into Azelf predicting that. Whereas in fact he's going to go for the Rain Dance, and I was like, aha, so that's why the Poliwrath's come. Now I think I might need this Azelf later on. I'm Scarfed, I will outspeed a Poliwrath in the rain. So I go into my Mega-Manectric thinking he might want to go for a knockoff. As it is, he's going to make an excellent play here and go into Gardevoir and trace the Lightning Rod. So he's made a fantastic play there, and I need to find a switch into this Gardevoir. Now that switch-in is going to be my Azelf, thinking I could take a hit in revenge, but he's going to go for the trick again. Give me some Specs and take a Scarf. This is not good. I can't utilise those Specs, but he can certainly utilise that Scarf. Now he's going to switch on out of there, go into his Fortress. At this point, I'm just going to go for a U-turn, try and get myself some initiative on this guy, and claw my way back in, because he's kind of unsettled me a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go into my Manectric. Now, even in the rain, a Flamethrower is going to do a tasty amount of damage to this guy. But even so, I think he's made the switch once before, he won't do it again, I'm just going to drop a Thunderbolt. But Cloud does make the switch again into the Gardevoir, traces my Lightning Rod. I go for the Thunderbolt, I think, after I Mega up, get the Intimidate, which doesn't matter, of course. Yeah, I go for the Thunderbolt, and now I'm facing down a Scarfed +1 Gardevoir, and I'm scared. I need to find fodder. That's just it, I have to find some death fodder. So I go into Azelf, kind of as that fodder. He's going to go for Moonblast, he is going to take out my Azelf, which is unfortunate. But what I needed to do was afford myself a free switch into my next Mon Tentacle. Now, even if he's at +1, I will take 2 Moonblasts, I will. So he's going to go for the first one, it's going to do 24%, I will take another, and I am going to go for the Scald. It's going to do good damage in the rain, and I will get the burn. That is very crucial, the burn will help me take it out, because I will now win this matchup 1v1. And that is exactly what's going to proceed to happen. He stays in to get damage on my Tentacle. I could spin, but I'm like, don't mess around with the threat, just go for the Scald, take out the Gardevoir. Down it goes, and that's a huge threat on Cloud's side gone, and once again we're back to parity, 4 versus 4. And I've stalled out the rain, which is good. But now in comes the Nidoking, and I'm like, okay, I don't really have too much I want to switch in, let's just let Tentacle go down, I'll risk the rocks. So Earth Power is going to take me out, but it's fine. I have Porygon 2, who, as we've seen, can really wall out Grimlock the Nidoking very effectively. He's going to desperately try and go for the Sludge Wave. It's not going to matter, because I can just recover up on him. He's not doing enough damage to me at all. But he's going to persist, going to keep trying and going for that Sludge Wave, maybe fishing for a crit. I'm just going to sit here and recover until I'm at an amount of health where I feel comfortable attacking. Now at this point, his Sludge Wave is doing 41%. My recover takes me to 90, which means he can't even 2-hit KO me from this range. So this is the point where I think he's going to switch out, and that's exactly what happens. He switches out into the Thunderous, and I absolutely nail him with an Ice Beam. It does massive, massive damage, so I managed to get that prediction absolutely spot on. Now I still don't want to take a knockoff or a Focus Blast or anything he might have. I'm going to go into the Mamoswine, as once again he is just going to set up the rain. which is a problem, but it's okay. I can take out this guy with an Ice Shard. Mamoswine once again, as I suspected, really putting the team on its back. But now is in going to come his late game threat, the Poliwrath. I can't take the risk of him setting up. I can't. So, he's going to go for the Belly Drum. This is scary, but he does not EV himself quite correctly. He doesn't pop a Citrus, and I go for Earthquake and take it out. I couldn't take the risk. I had to stay in and try and figure out a way of winning this match without Mamoswine. But thankfully, he is going to let his Poliwrath go down. Mamoswine picks up another kill. I'm going to go for Earthquake on the Fortress, because I can win this game now with my 2 remaining Mons without Mamoswine. I don't need Mamoswine to win it anymore, so I'm just going to go for Earthquakes until I die, basically, as he goes for Gyro Ball. But, as we can see here, an interesting decision, he is in fact going to switch out into Nidoking. I guess trying to make a play at some point, thinking I'd switch. I go for Endure here, just to show I have it, I guess, and I was trying to stall out Rain. Ice Shard is going to take out the Nidoking. I had to go for Ice Shard in case he had Sucker Punch. And now we're basically in the most favourable of positions. I can just sit here and spam Earthquake till I die. I do go for one last Endure. What that's going to allow me to do is fully stall out the Rain turns by the time Mamoswine does eventually go down. So as you can see, I live with 1 HP, Rain is on 1 turn left. Here what I can do is just go for that Earthquake, just get the chip damage that I might need. He's going to go for Gyro Ball. It will take out Mamoswine, who has been an absolute trooper for this series of battles. And now, as you can see, after he gets his leftovers, the rain stops. And this means I can finally just bring in Mega-Manectric, obviously outspeed him. I am packing the Flamethrower, I can go for it. That is, of course, going to take down the Fortress. It would have even if he had Ochre, I think. But he doesn't, he goes down, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the game. So, we do take a second win, which is grand, because what that means is that in this little exchange between myself and Cloud, we have emerged victorious. We've won 2 out of 2 games, which means the third game does not get played in this best of 3 series. We take this this series 2-0, which gives the PPL 1 point in the war, which is good. But spoiler alert, it's rather irrelevant because in other matchups with our friends, my friends in the PPL representation squad, they didn't come off as well as I did, unfortunately. There are some very, very tough battlers in the NPL, and the NPL, actually, by the time I got around to playing this game, they'd already won. They'd already won the war, unfortunately. There was no way mathematically we could pull it back, unfortunately. But this was for honour, and there was something a bit more personal about it as well. Like, I needed this win to sort of validate myself as a player. You know, I'd been doing really badly in League. I'd had a series of bad luck, and things just weren't going very well for me towards the end of Gen 6 competitive. So I needed this win, and I needed it to be strong, and I needed to not drop any points, and thankfully it didn't. So that put me in sort of a bit of better standing, a better frame of mind about competitive as we look into the new year. So that is going to be it from this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. Remember, be sure to check out down there in the description links to Cloud Envy's Twitter and YouTube. Do make sure you go and check out his stuff. Some fantastic content going on there. So yeah, check it out. It's going to be good. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up from this video. So yeah, my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.